the intro music. Yeah! Woo!
Last night, in the dark of the night, the game did a big update and it's going to hopefully give you some bug fixes you've been looking for, as well as announcing a big slew of updates to PvP arenas, which I did last night and as many are also experiencing. Yeah, maybe the lag is slightly better. The matches are still kind of rough. Well, I'm very curious to see what your thoughts are going to be with the proposed changes. And I got to have some good ones that you see here with this 57 I went back and forth with, which was quite fun, by the way. Shout out to them. They had some really big ships, like beefy. I managed to get some good ones in too. Don't worry. I got some good punches in. But how does that apply to everybody else? What is this going to look like? And is it better or is it worse? Well, to determine that, let's start with the notes themselves for the patch. So this is mostly just covering bug fixes. We will talk about the arena updates and what that looks like here in a bit, but let's talk about the different changes coming up. Starting with Alliance tournaments, they're fixing on things, particularly working on a lot of the UI issues that the game has had, which have caused a lot of lag and a lot of annoyances for various players. So stuck on loading screen and access Alliance level 1. That one I don't really feel like is going to affect 99.99% of y'all, but it's in the list. So there it is. And then this one though, the timeout error was definitely an issue that I'm sure a lot of you experienced. If you did, feel free to chime in, but that should be fixed. Remember, I'm not, verifying this. I'm just giving you the notes and talking about what they said. Alliance star bases. Surprisingly, that's important. I guess, sure, that happens. We actually have a star base on server 710. Yep, it exists. Okay, fix an issue where the build Alliance Starbase screen displayed even after the Starbase was already constructed. I'll be honest, I don't look at that screen enough to know. Incorrect battle log exports. I will tell you, as someone who works a lot with Spox Club and other tools, I do really like anything that improves the exportable files. Let me go ahead and tell you, those CSV files are not perfect. In fact, not everything that gets displayed in your game can be correct. So it's a headache. If you're ever curious, talk to the Spox Club guys. They do a lot of good work. But fixing some bugs in arenas, empty object viewer, HUD and ship management view defects. So as in when you're there and like your whole ship disappears. Yeah, that was a bummer. Supposedly that's fixed. Curtain animation sticking and arena rank icons getting worked on. Artifacts, power display. There was an issue that I noticed, and I'm sure many of you did. A lot of people brought it up to me, where you would have incorrect amounts for the display power on them. So that's gotten adjusted. The Crinum time weapon and the DTI device and the Lerpa. Now, you'll notice a couple of those are pay only items, but did get brought up. And then missing remnant bundles. Fix an issue where some artifact remnant bundles, like the pocket watch and the time weapon, did not appear in the refinery after the requirements are met. That is a good fix for those of you out there who have the rank and etc. to go after that. All right. DTI and Faction Store Chaos Tech Bundle, where it is getting a little bit of a boof in terms of fixing an error. Shards for the pocket watch and Crinum. That is where the purchase shard of one of our could give shards intended for the other. That obviously would be frustrating for most people. If you want something, you want that thing, not some stupid RNG for another thing. And then we have the untriggered building material bundles and systems labels independent. So these are mostly, like I said, UI and node fixes. The real beef of this is in what they've changed the arenas, but it feels disingenuous to not thank them for fixes. So here we are. All right, fix an issue where anti-charge alignment, anti-stag alignment names were inconsistent in different interfaces. I don't know about that one, honestly. I feel like that was just people needing to read better. But anyway, refits in grade 5 ships, low resolution textures. This one is interesting because I've been talking about that for years. And when I say years, I mean years. I'm not saying that in like a exaggeration. I mean years. We've been like, hey, when are those textures going to be better? When? The answer is supposedly now, but not now. How do I know not now? Because not now. Right there. That's hideous. Yeah. Can't tell me that's fixed, right? Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, Scopely, but nope. That's still ugly. All right, instant repair and waves. Officer Suitor's short description cutoff resolved a UI problem where it truncated his ability. So again, same kind of things that we looked at before. And then more HUD, artifact gallery pip, the Seska exocomp name and missing art, full icon on empty docks. All of these getting fixed and adjusted. There are a couple that have affected me. For example, this away teams one did affect me, and I do appreciate it getting fixed. which is not being able to collect after we did speed ups. Now, let's go over to the arena side of things. This is where a lot of changes are being introduced. Some big ones here in particular. We got a test coming for the 19th on the EU side, but if that test rolls out well, you're going to see public squads, you're going to see ops levels changing, and you're going to see this the 24th of February. So right around the corner this upcoming Monday. But be able to squad with commanders from any alliance on your server, opening up new ways to play. Ops levels are being adjusted from plus and minus 7 to plus and minus 4, so almost cutting it in half. That means if you are a level 56, like one of my accounts, that means the most I can invite in is a 52 and a 60. So that's a much closer range, which would limit what your opponents are going to be. Now, for higher levels who are going to say, hey, this limits who I can play with, that is where the public squad comes in. Hopefully you can pair up with more people in your server to allow you to play. For those of you who are lower level, this is hopefully going to make matchmaking closer so that you are able to play less higher levels. Like for me, I run into a lot of Sigmas when I am playing with other 56s. This makes that far less likely to happen. Now, it could still happen if I paired with a 60 and a 64, for example. But again, the ability to manipulate ops has been shrunk, but at the same time, that is going to hopefully benefit most players. Now, one quick thing, and I want to know y'all's thoughts. Do you think these are good? One negative does not change the speed cap, which I do feel, while well-intended, has made this an unplayable feature for so many players. And we've seen participation rates drop significantly. Using STFC statistics, we've looked and seen over half the number that were playing in month 1, as in how many were actively doing it. Less than half are doing that now. So we'll see if it's enough to get players back, but I still think the speed cap is a huge killer. So our public squads cross server, there's a nice little Q&A here with Liam that y'all can read as we look over it. No, they are not cross server public squads. You're gonna have to join people from your server. So on server 20, that'd be IA, Epic, Feds, etc. joining together, right? Why test the EU only first? We want to confirm performance and stability on a smaller scale. So they're going with one region, the EU, doing the testing. Does the new ops level range apply to alliance squads? Yep. It's +4, -4 for everybody. What if I'm in an alliance and face my own alliance mates? In the arena, everyone is fair game, which I will say I like this. Get mad at me. I don't know. I actually think this is nice. I think it's a nice change. The ability to potentially end up going against your own teammates because they're opening it up to public squads. That sounds really neat. And I'm actually looking forward to playing with some of my friends in other alliances and then maybe running into my own guys. That actually sounds really neat. I'm not gonna lie, it does. Call me whatever you want. I think that sounds neat. Sadly, the speed cap is still in effect. Public squads won't fix that underlying issue, but these updates help us gather more data. My personal hope is that they lift it somewhat. 275 is just so low. Will the day of the week change? We have no immediate plans to move. Sadly, that's still the case. Yes, I've been bringing that up, and I will continue to say that most players want at least a rotating schedule. Hopefully, when they get everything fixed, maybe that happens. How are the team's colors names handled on public squads? The name is based on the squad leader's alliance. Allies appear purple. Opponents appear blue. They be from your alliance or not. And last but not least, is there any chat feature? No, still no chat feature. So, with this in mind, do y'all feel like these are steps in the right direction? Do you feel like these are actually better? Or do you feel like this is more of the same, right? And I try to always do manipulation that got me closer to guaranteeing I was around like level players. And sometimes I'd face higher levels like this 59 and 60s from yesterday. And sometimes I could win, sometimes I would lose. Actually, believe we lost this match, by the way. Shout out to Havoc and company. I'm pretty sure we lost that one, even though I got some good wins in. Definitely lost against MIS. Shout out to MIS. Good cruise. But hopefully the +4, -4 gives players more of what they're hoping for, which is balanced matchmaking, especially now with a lot of the strategy being removed with the speed cap. So if you're going to have that, you absolutely need to limit who you can end up being against as an opponent. But still, there's a lot of issues with arenas. We'll see what these test runs look like. I am curious your thoughts. This has been today's slot for you, but hopefully it's informative and what you want to see. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleetman video. I'm out.
An even better outro than the intro. for the Empire and glory to your house.